Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another banging series. We've got the weekly NA Finals number 168 with Dark in the top right side of the map, Oliveira in the bottom left side, Dragon Kaiser Gaming. So they are teammates. Both players playing for Dragon Kaiser Gaming. Dark came from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Oliveira came from Kaiser Gaming. They merged. And for me, I always wondered what would happen when a dragon, a phoenix, and a Kaiser had a baby. Apparently, it's just a dragon Kaiser. Basically, the phoenix genes were recessive, and they got pushed out. So that's generally how that happens. Now, what's exciting about this is Dark is a god of Zerg versus Terran and StarCraft in general, who recently has been looking sloppier than he's ever looked, while also having a real old man energy to him. What do I mean by old man energy? For any of you who've ever played any traditional sport, it's rare to compete against old men. I think the best way to experience this is in mind sports, games like chess, or I think ping pong's a great one. Lots of old dudes in ping pong. And you'll often play against someone in ping pong if you go down to like a local club or, you know, an outdoor court or something, a table or something like that. You'll find like an 80-year-old Korean dude or something, and you're like, ha, this guy could barely like walk. I could smash him. I'm young and agile. And that old man will school your ass while barely moving his body an inch. And I feel like that's kind of what Dark's been doing lately, where he gets supply blocked 3 to 5 times within the first 5 minutes of almost every game. He's clearly a little geriatric on his early game build optimization lately, but by God, does he still have killer instinct? Like, it just doesn't matter. He's so good at hiding what he's doing, tricking his opponents. He's been killing people with so many big, crazy backstabs and just tricky maneuvers. On the other hand, Oliveira, it feels like, has, of course, stepped into a new age of his career, where he's doing so well. He's been beating guys like Hero, having pretty damn good matches versus everyone, except people say, oh, well, what about Maru stomping him in Pigfest? And I'm like, well, yeah, he kind of did, but they still had some pretty decent maps. And that's just Maru's TvT. Maru does that even to Beyond, who's the second best TvT player in the world, semi-regularly. You know, and TvT is just a matchup where beating Mario in TvT has always been a very difficult thing. That's his superpower, it seems, until TY comes back. Oh, okay. 6 Lings here, very safe play by Dark. I often argue that's an overcommitment, but it is what it is. He's got a 3rd hatchery down there, and you can see his Overlord making its way to the pillar. All right, so he's just got 1 worker on gas. No link speed making just yet, though, for Dark. He does like to delay that. Notice he just wants to use the lava as much as possible. So the moment this Overlord pops, it's a pretty late 36 Overlord, actually. Yeah, it's a pretty... it's not too bad, because he wanted to start another Queen, I guess, and link speed. But definitely does feel maybe slightly delayed there on getting these next few drones going. It's a very early 4th Queen, actually. Interesting. So Dark is going to go very quickly up to Queens. I think he wants to push his creep out very aggressively. And against a 3rd command center build, a very greedy build from Oliveira, it's going to be important for him to push that out as urgently as possible. Now, there's no tech lab started just yet. If Oliveira wants to build a Banshee, he's going to need that going. There we go. Tech lab does go down. And a Queen is getting ready to move out towards the 3rd. Now, on this map, you've got amazing distance between you and the Terran. So Dark, if he can create enough space for himself, cover this map in creep, he can do really well. The problem is there's a lot of ledges. There's a lot of these like little ramps and high ground areas where tanks can siege up. And I feel like if you lose map control and the Terran's kind of setting up on the map and initiating all these fights, it can work in the Terran's favor despite being a very big map. So there should be urgency for Dark to cover this map in creep, but he's doing the Queen Zergling Nidus. This is not an all-in, it's a heavily committed attack, usually off about 40, 45 drones, where he's going to mass Queen Ling and try to Nidus in the main. He's done this so much lately, though. This is one of his regular dirty tricks that he recycles over and over again. You're not really meant to be able to recycle dirty tricks in StarCraft, but Dark is one of the guys who does it and somehow gets away with it so often. Oliveira is so well prepared, man. The preparation master. That Nidus Worm will go down the moment the lair's finished, guys. I mean, technically, you could argue he's going to go quick Spire here. 7 Queen Spire. That's an option, but I very much doubt it. That is such a crazy gamble. There we go. Nidus Worm does go down. Hellions, can they see what's going on? The Ling's going to come in. Banshees, of course, aren't the counter to this. Normally, Banshees defend any sort of Roach Ling ground attack in the early game, Ling Bane. But with the Queens there, you morph an Overseer, and you can just get right into their base. Now, ideally, Dark starts the Nidus up here and just pushes into the natural, tries to force a reaction, and then gets the Nidus up in the main. Otherwise, I don't think he'll be able to get it up in time. On the other hand, it's a big main base. With the Banshees nearby, Oliveira should be able to react in time. I think he's got a really good setup, does Oliveira. Of course, no tanks and very few Marines. Only 4 Marines, but he's going to full wall his base, which means as the Hellions move out, as long as that depot starts before these links come in. Okay, it does. It does. The Hellions are looking to be... Oh, they see links coming across the map. It's a big tell. That is a big tell. He needs to be very careful, does Oliveira. The Overseer comes in. 3 Marines right next to it. That's a great start for Oliveira. Lings on the outside will get toasted by that big ball of Hellions. And the Banshees and the SCVs pull back. Easy holds here for Oliveira. Doesn't even lose a single Hellion. And Dark has got to go back to droning. But of course, his name's Dark. And he has absolutely no chill. He's going to make a Nidus Worm, 8 more Zerglings. He was looking for the easy surprise victory in this game. He's been using this same build versus Protoss all last season and still mixes it in. And he's decided to start mixing it in versus Terran a lot recently, realizing that his ZVP all-in works pretty well here. That was a sick Reaper Grenade. He actually bounced one of the weak Hellions across his Hellions to safety from the Lings. I don't think it was on purpose. But actually, he's the world champion. Let's say it was on purpose, guys. He definitely pixel perfect placed that Reaper Grenade because he's a god. We've got Queens coming out on the front right now. He's still building nothing but Lings and Queens. Dark is looking for a big doo-doo from Oliveira. If he can kill all the Hellions, the Lings are very scary. But now there's a tank out. I mean, there's just no way. Not when there's a tank out. Hellions are guarding that third mineral line. Oliveira is literally mining from a third base during this. And that tank is now sieged up. SCVs are going to try and repair the wall. Lings can get in there, but Queens can't fit through till that wall off comes down. The Hellions are separated from the Marines and tanks. And there's a Nidus in the main as well. Okay, no way. If he somehow makes this work, that'd be insane. Stim is done, and there's 16 Marines in a ball. The Hellions, oh, the Hellions do get kind of... Okay, no, they're getting some big shots on those Zerglings, man. Big shots on the Zerglings, but the Queens pop out inside the main base. Overseer's a little slow to get down here. The Reaper Grenade comes in. The Banshees, the Marines are going to fall. The Banshees both go down. The Queens are trying to fight it out, but they're not able to do much. The Lings are trying to rally in the front, but they already all died to their Hellions. And Dark, he shows a lot of stubbornness, very little flexibility, but Oliveira, fantastic prep. This map, Dark has been doing this build too much recently. Oliveira studied his opponent, and he was ready for it. All right, guys, nice start to the series here for Oliveira down in the bottom right side of Dragon Scales. Pretty good map for Terran players, and Dark up here in the top left going for a pool hatch gas opening. It's a Lambo 5 Roach build. And he, of course, is saying, hey, you scouted in the last game with an SCV, didn't you? Did he? I think he did. So I think he's basically Dark saying, well, I don't think you'll scout 2 games in a row, but this is a problem because Oliveira is scouting. And I've told you guys that Dark honestly just looks like he's like just throwing random all-ins at his opponents lately. And the thing is, I really feel like he puts himself in bad situations over and over again, right? The reason why we don't count him out is because he could have this fall completely flat and then still crush the game. Now that SCV doesn't scout for the Roach Horn yet. He's actually already got a Reaper out. Does he send the Reaper across the map? No, he's hiding it out here because he knows the Overlord, if it sees the Reaper waiting there, the Lings won't come in. So he's trying to bait the Lings in. But he realizes, oh, I don't want to leave this SCV unguarded. The Reaper does pull back. We've got 2 Roaches on the way. A Marine did build a factory. Reactor will go down next as well. Now, if you know about this, you build a bunker. You can build a bunker at the front or on the high ground, or you can skip both and just pull all your units to the high ground. But the idea is you want to make sure you build Marines, immediately build a tech lab, and then get a Cyclone out to deal with this. Arguably, Siege Tank is better if they're going the Ling speed variation that hits a little bit later, but a bit more, committed and harder to stop. Third Command Center is going up on the high ground. Often you need to pull SCVs and fight on the ramp. Dark's Roach Micro is insane. Really hard to deal with. Are we going to chuck a bunker down? Let's see. He's already, bunker on the high ground for safety, making sure he doesn't die. Dark's droning behind it, but remember, this was off 19 workers. His economy, it sucks, guys. It's a really bad economy, and it's not going to be great for him if he can't find any damage. Dragon Scales is not the smallest map in the pool. Cyclone's already started before the Roaches arrive. Whoa, lower that depot. Okay, good. His Marines are staggered. Really advanced adjustment. Notice the Marines are building 2 seconds apart. You might not realize that he was doing that, but the reason he did that, because only 1 Marine can fit out at a time into that choke point. So if they both popped at the same time, one would pop there and the other one would say, oh, I can't pop there, and it would automatically pop on the outside of the wall. So really detailed adjustment by Oliveira. Because of that, he loses a depot, 2 SCVs, and it's shut down. That's it. Because now the Cyclone's out, That should be all the damage he takes. But actually, one more SCV does go down as it pops from the command center. He probably should have canceled that. But he's still in a very good position, is Oliveira right now, that third command center being up. Cyclone is locking on. Dark's trying to play the delay game right now. He just wants to slow him down. He's moving the Overlord forward for the high ground vision. He's going to clean up a lot of these Marines, which is actually pretty darn nice. The Cyclone finally takes out a few more of these. You cannot lose that Cyclone. You cannot lose that Cyclone, mate. Does finally get the Ravager, and will get the Overlord, of course, as the parting gift. But look at this, Ling speed. He's already going mass circling. Oh, Dark is going to go for a giant Ling Flood to follow this up, knowing there's no Hellions out. And you know what? You're not expecting that. That's so rare. Normally, Zerg is just licking their wounds. They should have a third hatchery, fourth hatchery in the near future, trying to catch up on the tech, the upgrades, the queens. He's on 2 queens. He's got no creep, and he's just massing Zerglings. The Cyclone's going to come forward and get an Overlord kill, which will be nice. Dark will not save that Overlord. You don't want to show these Zerglings. I guess if you just show... He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. He's going to try to show the Zerglings now. He's going to get a bit of a surround on some of these units. Oh, man. Oliveira with Marines in the middle of the map. He was not expecting Ling speed this early. Ling's on the counterattack as well. Are going to be running on in there. A Siege Tank and a few Marines will pop out. There's one Cyclone as well. Dark is going to get some big damage here. Really disrupting Oliveira, but he needs big damage. He needs more than this. He needs more than this. Yes, the Cyclone goes down, but look at the worker count. With no third base up, no creep started, no tech, Dark needs more damage. He's going to pick off the depot. He's going to be a cheeky little bugger. But look at that. Scan comes down. He sees Evo Chamber, sees a full base, and Oliveira says, okay, I need to reestablish control of my natural. He's got at least 2 bases saturated. I need that base up and mining right now. He's got to watch out for the tank. The tank could do a lot of friendly fire here. The Marines should try to get in the mineral line. Uh-oh. Unsiege the tank. Unsiege the tank. Quick unsiege on the tank for Oliveira. Avoids the friendly fire. That was slick control by Oliveira. That was really well played. I thought he was going to blast all of his own Marines in SCVs, but what am I thinking, man? Oliveira's been on point lately. He might go double engineering bay before starport. I would not be surprised. No, he's going to go straight starport. Okay, interesting. He's got to get the gases on the natural as well. Most important in these scenarios where your economy gets scuffed is SCV production needs to be non-stop, number 1. And yeah, he only missed like 1 second of SCVs. Number 2 behind that is basically just get your build back on track. You're like, okay, I need the gases, then 2 engineering bays, medevac production. And third, after you've got all your economy going, your SCV production, your economy, only then do you think about counter pressuring, right? This is something where the counter pressuring is urgent and all the rest of it comes naturally to a guy like Oliveira. But I see a lot of average players on the ladder, average Joes, go straight to the, I need to counter attack and put pressure back on the Zerg. And while that's important, it is on a slightly lower level because look how delayed the creep is already. Look how delayed the economy is. You've got a little bit more time to sit there and lick your wounds than you realize because the lairs just started. Baneling speed's going to kick in at like 9 minutes this game, maybe later than that. The double upgrades aren't that far ahead for the Zerg. In fact, this upgrade will be behind. And, you know, you can absolutely catch back up just by playing solid, safe StarCraft. But those first 2 medevacs, that's an important point. So what you want to look at is not necessarily where the players are right after the damage happens, but what I really look for is when the first Marine pressure hits, how good is the Zerg's economy and how good can they shut that down? Because if they're stuck just mass-producing Zerglings off 55 drones and they don't have any room to drone up and the medevacs are picking off Zerglings and being really annoying and really limiting the Zerg's control, the Zerg never really gets out from under the pressure of the Terran. But in this case, Dark just built 15 workers. They're all popping out now. He's going to saturate that 4th, go up to 70 drones. He's already got 40 Zerglings on the map. His carapace finishes as well. I actually think Dark is potentially in a lead here. He's definitely able to shut this pressure down. His creep spread is obviously the big lacking factor, but beyond that, he's in an okay spot. Where are his Lings? Looks like they were going across the map for a bit of a counterattack. He does change his mind, comes back here, but loses a little bit of mining time, takes a bit of damage on the hatchery. Creep is trying to spread out in all directions right now. And Oliveira, is he swapping off tank production? No, he's still going nothing but Marines and tanks. It's a good map for siege tanks. We've seen many times siege tanks here, here, here. Also, if they do later on push, we often see a couple of siege tanks wedged there, and that can be a very nice position. So far, units lost tab is about dead even. Dark's ability to just throw random stuff at his opponent, have it scouted, and then still somehow find a way to get ahead. It's second to none. I talk about his weird, crazy builds, and this is the scary thing. He's so good at navigating messy games. He will figure out exactly how greedy to be. And the other player is the one who's often a little bit less experienced there going, oh, should I attack now? I'm not sure. I don't know if I should commit or not. It's really hard to judge. 15 seconds till Bane Speed finishes. Bane Speed's going to be ready for this push. Those tanks are pretty well set up, but he doesn't have any Marines across the gap on the right side. Luckily, the Siege tank can see across there. There's no sight blocker over that bit. Marines are running forwards. Masslings run in. The door does not raise. Oh, no. Banelings roll into the third base. The door doesn't get up. Oh, Oliveira, not normally one to have trouble getting it up, but in this scenario, he does. Now he's got to crush this fight on the front. If he doesn't crush this fight, he will lose this game. There's not many Banelings left for Dark, but another round does finish. If Dark can defend 4 base, it is such a massive lead. He even pulls back. Such a good decision. This is such a good decision. How many times have we seen players stand and fight on their 4th base? It's like, dude, your opponent's on basically 1 base economy right now. 3 bases is a massive lead against that. Just don't take a horrendous fight, and you've got this one in the bag, and that's exactly what Dark does. What an absolute legend. So far, opens with Queen Lightning, follows up with Pool First, 2 Zerglings, into a 5 Roach Pressure, into a Speedling Flood, and then swarms in the mid-game. He's such a hard player to read. One of the players where I honestly feel like playing ZVP versus Dark has got to be one of the most frustrating things in the world. As a Terran, at least you've got kind of more stable defensive tools, but we see that like his explosive nature is still very much hard to lock down and figure out ahead of time. Oh, that's an unmanned wall. That is an unmanned wall right now. Single man with gun stands alone against the Horde, and that is not going to go well for him. Meanwhile, Lingbane crashes over the Marine tank on the front. Dark taking advantage of fighting on multiple sides at once. Oh, the transfuse is going down. The Ling's coming on in as well. Even if a few Marines are left standing, there's not going to be enough to finish this off. Beautiful play here by Dark in this game. He's breached the production on the other side of the map as well. Drop in the top right there. Oliveira making the most of a very bad situation. But this is not that game versus Rainer, man. This is not that that almost comeback from the world champs where he was pretty much dead on this map and then 30 Marines stimmed up the main ramp and almost won the game. A single Baneling slipping through. Oliveira will fight to that last second, but he literally has 1 SCV versus 60 right now. And these Lings, yeah, might be a little awkward without Banes, but they clean it up. And Dark tying up the series, just looking really bloody good there. That surprise Speedling follow-up to the 5 Roach build, I've never seen that exact timing. He kind of lulled Oliveira into a sense of, oh, it's your turn to come out of the map and pressure. Caught his army in the middle of the map. Really well played. All right, guys, let's go into game 3. Oliveira in the bottom right side. No scout for him. So he says, okay, 3 games in a row, you're not going to be highly aggressive. Does skip the scout, and Dark indeed was going hatch first. So it's tied up 1-1 as we go into Gressman. And I think we're seeing that Dark is, you know, enjoying kind of throwing the kitchen sink at Oliveira. I think one of my big questions is Dark even capable of playing like a top tier level straight up just macro game? I don't know if it's really in his wheelhouse right now, simply because he's so aggressive. Now, don't get me wrong. I simply mean that he's kind of more of a, I'm going to make you overreact to something, then go to the macro game, right? I'm gonna mess you up a little here, there, and then find my way ahead and dominate you in the mid game onwards. But definitely not that European style, or, you know, not even European solar style. There's a lot of defensive Zergs out there. Even Ragnarok sometimes plays a more solid defensive game than Dark right now, which is really fascinating to see. But yeah, I wonder if Dark's going to do something like, if he plays a macro game, go Mass Roach, right? Do something like a little bit not as detail-oriented, because Lingbane is a bit more fragile. If you make a mistake, it's more punishing, whereas I feel like Dark is just hard to kill when he's playing Roaches. I actually think, like, there's a reason why he was playing that Cave Bob build, the I'm playing Roaches and skipping Lings entirely for such a long time, because it just, no matter how much preparation his opponent did, I felt like just going Roaches as Dark basically just stops all crazy attacks. And he's doing it. Yeah, Roach Warren goes down. Yeah. No Ling speed, so I guess you could say obviously he was going to do that, Pig, otherwise he would have started Ling speed like 20 seconds ago. But yeah, he's going to go Mass Roach here on Gressman, and that's just very popular on this map. We've seen him do it, you know, versus Beyond. We've seen Rainer pull it out here versus Oliveira, and she is on the way. Now, Oliveira on this map, he really enjoys the Cloakless Banshee. So we'll see. 100 gas does start Cloak. Okay, Reaper. Careful. Careful with the Reaper. Okay, Reaper does pull back. Third Command Center is finishing. Hellions are sitting at home. Back on gas right now is Dark. He hasn't built any Roaches just yet. Just 5 Queens and 8 Zerglings and no more Queens building? Yeah, I was about to say, someone's saving their money for something, right? 8 Roaches on the way. So he's going to do a bit of a Roach shove, which is not good against Banshees. But if he can somehow hide it and maybe the Banshees move out, he could do surprising damage. What we often see with Dark in these games is he'll just spot the Banshees with the Overlord or something. He'll run back and then he'll hide 4 or 5 roaches up here. And when the Hellions do come across the map and the Banshees, that's when he'll run in with those roaches and just try to focus down as many SCVs. Because there's a big period where, hey, there's still no second and third barracks. All your mobile units are Hellions and Banshees. They want to be harassing. And so far, those roaches are actually hidden. They're going around the top of the map. They haven't been spotted just yet. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Oh my god, Oliveira is so unlucky! Okay, his Banshees at home? His Banshees are at home, so he should be okay, but that's still very frustrating to not see this earlier. Otherwise, the Banshee could be out here damaging this already. That's a lot of roaches. They're very tanky boys. Hellions are going to have to try to dive probably to do damage, but with 5 queens and some Zerglings in front of them, even if they're slowlings, that's an issue. The SCVs may need to just run away from this base. He doesn't want to lose all that mining time, but yeah, you got to minimize damage here. Already, he's going to take 7 SCVs, 8 SCVs. The Roach doing catastrophic damage. Hellions try to dive. The drones run away. Dark with some fantastic crisis management right now at home while creating a crisis for Oliveira in his base. Dark maybe could have got 1 or 2 more SCVs here. Can he get a mule? That'd be pretty big. Unable to get that mule. 10 SCVs go down. Mining time. The depots have been stalled out there. Needs to get SCVs back on those. And that's a big amount of damage. And now Dark is like, cool, I can continue on. I'm up 20 workers. My 4th base is finished. He's going to go Roach speed. For some reason, he's only going single Evo, which is a little peculiar to me. He's also building spores, which is definitely not necessary because he's got a lair. He could just use an Overseer and his queens to defend. I guess because he's only got 5 queens. Okay, he's only got 5 queens, right. So he does need the spores because he doesn't actually have enough queens to move around and defend mobile. Oliveira's got a chance to strike back, and he needs to strike back and strike back hard. Gives him a nice bit of the Banshees just punching 5 drones in the face. Knocks those out off that base, but with the 4th base coming up. And he's doing his 8 gas build. Oh, Dark is doing his silly 8 gas build, guys. He's been loving this one lately. This will allow him to basically make everything at once. He's going to go for all the tech. He's got Ling Speed on the way. I think we'll probably see an infestation in a quick hive. The Banshees and the Hellions distracting him is very important for Oliveira. Oliveira needs to slow his opponent down right now. He's going to clean up that Overlord. Oh, Pervert! Pervert survives on 4 hit points. He's going to need to wait for the medevacs to get down there. First medevac has only just popped out, or the first 2, sorry. Does clean up the Pervert on the high ground. Infestation Pit and Baneling Nest on the way. So it is going to be melee carapace. I'm starting to wonder, guys, what's the 8 gas for? Is it Lurkers? Or is it just... Oh, it's the Ravager Fund. Okay. Oh, Dark's going to chuck a... He's going to make a North America of Ravagers. Rainer and Dark are 2 of the best Ravager players in the world. I think he's just going to do a massive Ravagerling Bane timing to try and kill Oliveira. He's making a hive. He's trying to go Infestors behind it, but that tech is a little late. But the money, the income, off the charts for Dark. His creep control, not that good on the map. He's losing a few Overlords. Oliveira has chances to get back in this game, but they are limited. He's going 8 racks. Oh, man. Trying to kill a player who's going for Infestor Roach with 8 racks is very difficult. He's only got 2 siege tanks. He's got no 4th command center, no 2nd factory. I dare say Dark will need to throw for him to lose this game. It's very unlikely he loses this game. Like, it's going to take a real effort for this one to slip away. Oliveira will need to do heavy lifting. He's going to need to go Super Saiyan. And Dark is going to need to go, you know, wet the bed, nervous Zerg, making stupid mistake after stupid mistake, because it's just strategically from here, you have one play, which is do a giant push. And you're going to have to do that preferably pretty soon as Oliveira, but he hasn't even started 2-2. So he's on an upgrade timer with +2 carapace started there for Dark. He's also got Infestors coming out. Luckily for him, it's only 2 Infestors. So Dark should be going 4 or 5 Infestors if he's going to bother with Pathogen Glands, but as always, Dark kind of plays to the beat of his own drum. Those Marines take a fungal, but that's a huge waste of a fungal, guys. That was actually... He shows the Infestor and doesn't even manage to kill the Marines they save. So that was actually really bad for Dark to show his Infestors like that. Dark needs to do nothing but mass units. He's going Vipers as well. So he's using the high... He wants to play Fungal for the Bio, Vipers for the Blinding Cloud, and just massling Bane with a bunch of Ravagers in the back to overwhelm. But a lot of supplies tied up in Roaches. He's very high on that that Roach supply and that Worker supply. And Oliveira is getting an amazing position. Where are the Banelings? Where are the Banelings? He didn't make any Banelings ahead of time. He didn't use any Fungal to slow down the push. He lets Oliveira right into his territory. Dark was so pushed back by the Banshee pressure, by the double drop in the north, the double drop in the south, that Oliveira is able to move forward and siege up right in front of his economy. And Dark took this base, which is such an exposed base, because this push on this angle, it takes 2 bases out with 1 strike. Dude, Oliveira with some great harassment somehow puts himself in a position where he's actually going to knock down Dark's economy. And Dark's Vipers just weren't quick enough here. If he had 4 or 5 Infestors and actually was forward on the map like you're meant to be with an Infestor style, he could have slowed this push down by forcing the siege up further back. But Oliveira has completely blindsided him with this delayed 8 racks. And now Dark is trying to set up for a big Ling run by on the south side. He's got to cut off the rally. You cannot let your opponent rally across the map. But look, Oliveira's realized that's coming. He's rallied at home. I still don't know if it's enough. That is so many Zerglings coming in. But Oliveira, oh no, Dark splits his Zerglings, which means it's definitely enough units. They're going to get cleaned up. Vipers come forward. He lands 2 massive blinding clouds. Dark should be able to break this position, but he doesn't actually have much firepower. Where are his units? The Hellbats and Marines doing very well. The bio on the top taking out all of the Ravagers. Dark is getting slaughtered in this game. Oh my god, that was a beautiful push. Takes out 2 bases, clears the whole army out, and guess what? Behind it, it's a very late 4th, but it's still a 4th base. Now, he doesn't have a second factory, Oliveira, but, I mean, the supply is good. He's up in supply. He's not down that far in workers. Dark's income is actually lower than his right now. He's trying to rebuild these bases. And I've talked a lot about how I really dislike this base for Zerg on this map, and I much prefer they take either the far top or the far bottom. Because for the opponent to push up here, it means the other side of the map's usually very safe. So unless you just think you can't defend harassment, and you're really confident controlling the center of the map, that middle base is so exposed by that ledge and that ledge that I think it's a terrible choice to take. And yet Zergs keep on taking it. I think give it a few months and we'll stop seeing Zergs take that base unless they've already got a lead in the game and they've already got like a lot of creep through the middle of the map. So I definitely think a strategic misplay for Dark to present 2 bases to the single push path. Now Infestors can always bring you back in a StarCraft game, but he's still only got 2 of them. And I got to reiterate what I was saying earlier about the fact that if you're going to go Pathogen Glands, you should build at least minimum 3, probably 4 or 5 Infestors. That's going to give you so many fungals. He also doesn't have Burrow, where I feel just Ravagerling Bane with good Infestor usage with Burrow would have been good enough, but he diversified his tech way too much. So much Roach Ravager, Infestors, Vipers, Banelings. It's a real mix. Oh, big fungal. Some nice bios landing as well, but once again, he's got 2 bases on the same push path, and Dark seems to be doomed to just repeat the exact same mistake as before. I mean, he doesn't really have the numbers to do much else, but he definitely has to backstab. You can't let this army just waltz through the middle of the map like this. Banelings cannot engage into that position. He's going to try and flank around the right side with some Zerglings to cut off the rally. He's trying to fight on the front at the same time. Does he manage to take out the Liberator? Yes, he does. Lings are cleaning up the rally, and they are getting ready to flank this as well. This front base, 13 drones have gone down on the high ground of the tanks and the libs. Oh man, 2 medevacs go down. Very nice bios. Dark, his ability to just micro these Ravagers and get value is insane. He hangs on in these games like so few players are able to. The Lings come in though. Look at these depots, man. Those depots always providing these nice little choke points for the Terran units to fight in. So annoying to play against as the Zerg. You're like, come on, man, just let me surround you. But choke points, man. Building those depots, those obstacles, a very nice way to break up your opponent's charge and hold them back. 2-2 versus 2-2. +3 Carapace will finish soon, but +3 bioweapons is on the way as well. Looks like Dark's going to push him back for the moment. That's not the biggest army, but there's Fungal. If you turn and fight that, Fungal's going to ruin your day, Oliveira. Careful. Careful, mate. He sees those Fungal boys waddling forwards. Dark's rebuilt a base in the bottom. This base is still there. Is he re-droning right now? Yes, he is. And this is what I'm talking about. His composition is getting a lot simpler now. It's just Infestors, Roaches, Ravagers, Zerglings. But I actually think if he uses that composition well, there's still no Ghosts on the map. The Ghost Academy's just started. 5th base has landed, so don't get me wrong, Oliveira's economy is amazing compared to Dark's, but you've got chances. It's a big map. If you can respread your creep and so on, you've definitely got a spot to fight back. Creep tumors are active on pretty much every lane right now. So you could tell Dark's keeping his organization in the midst of the chaos. Double drop in the north is going to fly on by. Doesn't look like Dark's noticed that just yet. There we go. The Lings do react. Bio pushes forward yet again. Oliveira likes this push path. Gets a hatchery cancel there. The Queens do push back the double drop in the north, but Oliveira reacts quick enough. Doesn't lose any units. And there's not really any Overseers on the map either. So more Infestors and Vipers make... Whoa, watch out, watch out, watch out. Get out of there. Oliveira, what are we doing? Oliveira's not watching right now. He loses a bunch of units. At least he baits a fungal. He's got a drop in the south at the same time. Looks like he managed to chase the drones away. Baits a fungal out, saves 3 of those Marines. Oliveira does push in and takes out some units on this side. Infestors. Oh no, he loses 1 Infestor. Another one almost goes down. And the medevacs do kind of derp forward a little bit and throw their lives away. Oliveira's got to get his stuff together. He's taking a lot of bases. He's now got a 2nd factory and a 3rd factory up. So it looks like he's got reacted Widow Mines and double Tech Lab Siege Tank. And this is the other push position that I've been talking about. Tanks there are a nightmare to deal with as Zerg. So this is why I hate this base so much. Oh man, I don't know how you defend this if it's dark. You got a lot of Ravagers. I mean, Ravagers can do stuff, that's for sure. The Widow Mines, are they going to fire on those Zerglings? No, not really. Finally, they fire on the 2nd wave. Biles land. One of those Widow Mines does survive. The medevac does go down, though. The 9 Ravagers, 7 Infestors, 3 Vipers. This is what we call the Desperation Army. It's the comeback army for Dark. Great Biles and Fungals landing across the front. Another Infestor waddles forward, does take some big tank shots, though. Another base gets taken behind it. Oliveira is keeping up a great expansion rate. Has he done a good job of transferring workers? It looks like he's done a pretty good job. He's got a few oversaturated bases, but maybe 10 workers not mining super efficiently. The rest are mining very well. Dark's back up to 82 drones. He's still trying to respread creep in these areas. You can see these tubers trying to get out there, trying to use his spellcasters as well. He's got to be careful, though. Oliveira's going to keep that mobility going. Viper's looking for like abducts and stuff like that. He's going to double bile the Widow Mine over there. Here comes the Marine Widow Mine push on that side. Does put 1 bile down and another one. Man's not even going to make any overseers this game, guys. He's decided overseers are for idiots. I've got Ravagers. I can just drop biles to deal with invisible units. That's going to hurt him as the ghosts come in. They don't have cloak just yet, the ghosts. That, of course, is the Cloaking Field Banshee upgrade, and hasn't started it just yet. But the tank count, 8 tanks, 19 Marines, 2 Marauders, 7 Ghosts, all coming on forward. The Infestors are there. Gotta watch out for those Fungals. And man, this push path through the middle is giving me Zerg trauma right now. Yeah, Dark's got to keep backstabbing and giving up ground. This is so much more mature than before. He's just like, yep, split half the army to the north, go blow up a planetary or 2. There's nothing there to defend. If he can take out 2 bases, I don't think he has enough Banes, but I think he can take out at least 1, maybe 2. We'll see how it goes. The SCVs go to repair. The Banelings say, thank you very much. We'll take you all out, boys. 17, 18 SCVs, and a planetary goes down. Oliveira is going to be quick to counterattack, though. Oh, Dark is not split up right now. He's taken a lot of damage. Some of his Lings do run in the front because there was a dive on that side as well. The Spore Crawler barely takes out the medevac, but 9 drones do go down. Oliveira is still in this central position. It's still a very dangerous position. The Biomine coming forward. The Fungal is peppering his units, but it's not really killing too much just yet. A Ghost splits forward and actually almost dies. The Lings do finish him off there. Dark splits 2 Lings off. New command center coming up into the north. There's still a lot of Ling Bane up there. This base here might be the weak point. If Ling Bane could get in on this base, even in small numbers, it would just give Oliveira an extra front to worry about. But right now, this here, I don't know what you guys call this, but this is a you don't engage that. You do not engage into there, Dark. I don't think it's going to work. He's coming in from both sides at once. The Ling Bane on the top clears up 1 siege tank before it gets absolutely annihilated. The Parasitic Bomb takes out most of the medevacs, which is cool. But my god, that's so many siege tanks, man. Burrow finally kicking in this game, by the way, just recently. Could start sneaking some Infestors behind, but man, still no Overseers. He's finally making them. There's so many Widow Mines here, and it's very hard to spot them on creep as well. He's trying to bile. He can't even see where the bloody units are. Oliveira does walk into those biles, takes some big damage. It looks like an accidental Microbial Shroud went down on that side. And Dark is trying to take these units out as hard as he can. More command centers are coming down. New planetary is up on the north. And in this sort of game, I do think Oliveira can probably take the south as well. If Dark brings this game back, we need to give him a title. Twitch chat proposed the title. If you're watching on YouTube, guys, please propose your title. What would be a title for a player that makes a comeback from this sort of game? Where they've just been getting mauled all game. They somehow survive the bloody ground and pound, pop up off the bottom, and then they just bloody knock the guy out. Because that's kind of what Dark... If Dark wins this game, that's what I'm thinking. And look at the supply. He's ahead in supply. I still don't think it's a great position. But look at this. He's that front, that weak point we were talking about. Ling's in the bottom. He's got some Ling Bane in the top that's just going to go after the SCVs. Ravagers are taking some big hits. Oh my god, Ghosts. He's got to land Fungals. Fungals the only way to deal with this because he doesn't have any Banelings. Big EMPs land, though. He's just lost every single bit of energy on his Infestors, but he kills almost all the Ghosts. The Lings are over there. 4 drones. They want to fight with the boys. Wait, we want to be with the boys. A couple of bevies with the boys. Those drones getting some bevies with the boys in a very dangerous zone. He actually pulls the drones home in the midst of the fight. Does command them to get back to work. There's still a gigantic tank line here, but he's going to push back the front edge of it. Dark here, fighting like an absolute monster. And I know this is crazy, but Oliveira needs more Marines. And he's realizing he was building 12 Marines at a moment. He actually just needs more basic bio units, maybe, to deal with the mobility of these Ling backstabs and that sort of stuff. He does have 2 new bases in the top. Those SCVs need to get to mining. Looks like a misclick. There's still some tanks and Widow Mines around here. We've got a 5-kill mine, a 2-kill mine, a 16-kill tank, a single-kill mine, and this one Liberator that's just been chilling there for the last 10 minutes of this game, denying mining on a base, which I don't know if Dark's... Oh, actually, he's going to rally into it. And that Liberator... Oh, he pulls away. And Ravages will finally clean that one up, but a couple of snipey snipes. Nope, gets out of vision, it looks like. Don't think that broke the range. I think that was just out of vision of the Ghost. No scan. Got a fusion core down, but he never managed to get advanced ballistics. Oliveira's still pushing the front, and he actually needs to go back and turtle for a while. This is the sort of game where actually the cost efficiency, you're not that much more cost efficient. Just like, you need to defend, but your bases are so spread. Infestors pop up from all sides. A Widow Mine killed 3 Infestors on the backside of this, but great move by Dark. And Dark right now, the wizard of all wizards, the necromancer, bloody Voldemort. That's it, Voldemort. I'm calling him Voldemort. You guys all had some good suggestions. I'm calling him Voldemort because this man has more Horcruxes than a bloody no-nose Ralph Fiennes. I'm talking about a weird guy who's bloody stalking small children going to school for some reason. This man will not go down. He's stored extra lives in every single place. He's unlocked every secret level. He's got the fucking, the bloody mega armor. He's got the bloody, power-ups. He's got so many bloody comeback abilities. His spellcaster usage, second to none. His ability to just keep on fighting from behind. And these Ravages. I know it's a meme at this point, but his Ravages. His Ravager usage is so good. They fought so well from behind. He cannot push up that ramp. He's got to be careful. He just threw away a lot of Infestors there. Careful, Dark. Keep it in your pants, mate. Oh, trying to push for the finish. It looks like he got a little bit too much urgency. But if he could take out this top base, that'd be good. The thing is, he can't really afford to, like, headbutt into planetaries. There's no building armor, actually, which is a big mistake, I would say, for Oliveira in such a long game. But, yeah, he's going to try and probably group up his army to take out one of these top bases, maybe, and then just keep hitting the natural and the production with Ling run-bys would be the way to do it. Oliveira's lost so many depots that he's supply blocked. He has to rebuild all of his depots, which is a nightmare. That's so annoying. And there's only 4 Infestors left. Oh, this is still such a close game. What the hell, dude? Okay, the Marines coming forward. Oh. These Infestors, the last time he went for an engage, he unburrowed 4 Infestors on a siege tank. And while the tank died to the friendly fire, so did all the Infestors. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. There's not enough bio to really warrant that. I really think Neuroparasite might be better in these small-scale fights where you just kind of like steal the tanks and then just YOLO everything else in. The Lings are going to run in. Ooh, Widow Mine gets 16 kills there. The other one already is up on 22 kills. That Widow Mine over here as well goes from 16 to 26. That Widow Mine gets 9 kills. Dark, careful, mate. Careful. Got to be really worried about those sorts of engagements. I like that he's pre-spread reasonably well. Are we going to see? Come on, Neuroparasite, mate. Neuroparasite could absolutely win this. Oh my god. Mike Ockenball's in the Twitch chat coming out with a dirty one there. You got me, mate. 125 Zerglings, 4 Infestors, 2 Vipers here. Oh, pull back, pull back. I don't think this is the right engage, is it? Well, he takes out a siege tank. Does use a lot of energy, though. He's got to be really careful. He's going to bring the whole army up from the bottom. Oh, these Widow Mines. Oh, my God. Dark just... He's not making overseers. He's only got one of them. Oh, the Burrow Fungal pop-up from behind in the rear with the gear. Dark with no chill, but he loses the Infestors. His Vipers fly into the missile turrets. He loses most of those. That Widow Mine gets a pretty big hit. The Marines are the ghosts. If they hold this planetary, Oliveira will win this game. And indeed, I think they just barely will. If he has a scan to kill those Infestors, that's going to be game-ending. Oh, that was a huge hold. And it's after all this patience, all this defending for so long. There we go. Scan gets 2 of the Infestors. Dark gets impatient, tried to shove in the natural. If he just didn't shove it in the natural and pulled back and took out these top bases, he could have won this game. But he got a bit overeager. He lost a little bit of situational awareness. I also don't know if he even knew about this base in the north that whole time. I probably should have been checking his vision. He might not have realized this was here until a couple minutes ago. But that moment when he pushed in this deep trying to kill the production could have been a game-winning move. It was a bit high risk, though. Ended up costing him. It's always easy in hindsight, or easy when we see everything to say, but oh, okay, stop it. These Widow Mines are just getting out of control. I mean, he's building Overseers, but he's not really been cleaning up the Widow Mines systematically, and they've just been paying dividends. Look at these Commander Widow Mines, guys. I know Sergeant Chadhammer is what we call a siege tank with like dozens of kills that just keeps sitting in a good position killing stuff. I don't know what we call a really, really elite Widow Mine, but in this game, there's been a whole pack of them. Yeah, I don't know. They're deadly, man. Some real assassins, some John Wick Widow Mines in this game. And even that one's going to get a few more drones. The hatchery does get sniped there. Oliveira is going to dive on the north. He says, hey, pulled your whole army out of position. By the way, while you're not looking, Widow Mines are going to ruin your day. Oh my god, so many kills going down. Oh my god, 34 kills. And there's tanks behind this and even more Widow Mines. If you can get a few Marines out to help stabilize. Yeah, Dark, he lost a base on the north at the same time. And Oliveira, it looked like Dark was going to drag himself out of the depths, but Oliveira stays calm and finishes it off. All right, going into game 4, Royal Blood. Man, Dark almost brought that one back. This man is a true survivor. The one true survivor. I can't actually ever remember the actual lyrics to bloody Eye of the Tiger. Anyways, Oliveira in the top right side. I like his ability to just keep going, just keep going, just keep fighting. There was that big moment where all those tanks got kind of left without enough bio. And if you keep pushing on Gressman like that, it's a real balancing act between defending counterattacks and keeping your big front siege army covered with enough Marines, Marauders, and stuff to actually defend them from Lings basically just jumping on top and killing all the siege tanks hyper efficiently. Oliveira looks like, will he scout? We'll find out with what he does with his rally point after that SCV pops. If he rallies it to the natural, then we know he is scouting. If he leaves it here, then he is not, because it means this SCV will build the command center. So it looks like he's not going to be scouting right now unless he pulls an SCV right now manually. And nope. Yes. Ah, okay. He is actually going to scout. Oh, he pulls that SCV at the perfect time. Most people mine 5 minerals before building the command center, but he's actually pulled the SCV late, so he should go straight for the command center, and even then it was the second late. Not too bad, though. Overall, pretty clean opening. Dark is mining with 3 workers on gas. Now, if he doesn't pull off gas, he could be doing one of his cheeky Ling speed very early attacks. But he's actually going for no pull off on the gas just yet. The hatchery on the natural's done. Dark, what are you up to, mate? Okay, no, he's just pulling off a little bit later than normal. Fair enough. Reaper's coming forward. The SCV, of course, did scout that hatchery. And he's going to move out with the drone, taking the triangle third on the left side seems to be his goal. 6 Zerglings on the way as well. Shouldn't really be taking any damage if you're building 6 Zerglings. Let's see how well Oliveira can micro his Reaper. One more win, Oliveira takes Dark out here in this grand finals. Ooh. Oh, ow, ow, ow. Watch out. That Reaper's dancing back and forth. But not able to get any kills. Very good micro by Dark. Nice, calm, cool, collected handling. And he's going to try and get that creep tumor down. Reaper comes in. Zerglings push it back. And that should buy time for that to get out. Third hatchery is now building. We've got a third queen on the way, as well as overlords. And he's got 2 overlords on the other side of the map. Now, if your opponent does this a lot, going for Viking is actually amazing. And we've seen a lot of Banshees this game. A lot of players go Banshees every game against Dark because he does so many weird attacks. But I think in this scenario, what we'd like to actually see is probably... I would like Viking Lib. I actually think Viking Liberator could really do very well. I wonder how greedy Dark plays. It's inevitable when Dark's playing what appears to be a normal macro game like this that he'll probably play like 8 queen double evo chamber really fast upgrades, just like, and then potentially look for a 1/1 Ling Bane bust depending on how the game's going. So that's a very popular build for Dark. He loves to kind of just say skip the Baneling Nest, you know, delay the spores as long as possible. Essentially, basically just be very greedy and then go straight up into super early upgrades. Safety Banshee is on the way for now. Could turn into an actual Cloak Banshee. When he gets 100 gas, we'll see if he starts that upgrade. And the first 2 Hellions and the Reaper are going to poke out, see if they can get some creep. So far, the Queen Split's really good. The Overlord positioning is beautiful. Yeah, Dark has a lot of information about where Oliveira is coming from. This Overlord sees so much. Gives you so much information. Looks like this Overlord's going to come in for a pretty late sacrifice. So this is not trying to get super early info. This is just trying to confirm, hey, it's not 2 factory blue flame or something crazy like that. It's not a battle cruiser opening. And he should be able to get in and see the cloak, see the 3rd command center. So very effective scouting for Dark. He's building 4 overlords right now. So it looks like maybe a classic Dark supply block on 66. But he's making up for it now. 8 drones on the way. Marine's going to push him back, but seeing the bio transition, Dark knows exactly what's up. He's got a creep tumor in the main. You'd like to see him spread that out just to cover the edges so that your queens, lurglings can defend drops later. And man, the creep spread's looking good. He's going to go for that quick 4th base. So he's not going for the quick double evo, guys. Notice we've got lair and 2nd and 3rd gas. So he's going to go the really quick 4th base and then double evo and bane nest probably around the same time in the next 20 seconds. And he's just going to try and do everything at once, basically. So he's only got 7 queens, no early baneling nest. This 100% dies to a bane bust. Even a Hellion dive would have caused him trouble. He's only got 6 Zerglings. A Hellion dive could have killed 20 to 30 workers. I mean, Dark has played this so greedy, but Oliveira is a little predictable with playing very standard strategies. He's been playing a bit like Clem, right? 3cc, Hellion Banshee, 3cc, Hellion Banshee. CC meaning command center, by the way. We do occasionally get that question in the comments. Sorry, guys who aren't as into the scene and using all the jargon. Try and explain that stuff whenever I can. If you guys ever don't understand something I say, please post it in the comments and stuff. We'll try to explain it when we can. 7 drones are on the way. 1-1 upgrades are started at about similar timing to the Terran. Normally Terran's significantly ahead on that. And Overseer is on the way. Hasn't come up just yet, though. Yeah, Dark, if Dark can get like these extra 5 workers out, and then he's going to get a 2nd macro hatch, he will just have so much stuff. And the Banshees have not done much damage. It's a big investment. To build 6 Hellions, 2 Banshees cloak, and to kill 2 drones, guys, this is Dark trying to win the game without any fighting happening, right? It's just him basically rolling a dice, but it's rolling a dice very intelligently. He says, you know what, I know that this dice is weighted in my favor because you so predictably go 3 command centers and you don't really believe in the power of Hellbat timings. I know you don't believe in the power of Hellbat timings. You're not going to do one. Therefore, I don't even need to respect that possibility, right? People often say, like, I don't even know why people do Hellbat timings. They never work. The thing is, the moment they're out of the rotation for a player and that becomes known, people play even greedier against them. And that's why the Hellbat timing is all about keeping your opponent honest. And that's the game of StarCraft. It's like, you know, there is a poker element in StarCraft. It's a game of incomplete information. If you don't call your opponent's bluff ever, or try to, then they're going to bluff you all day, every day. And that's an element of StarCraft. There is actually a very high correlation between high-level StarCraft players and high-level poker players. And that's one of the big skills you need, is the ability to read your opponent and sense when they're gambling and when they're trying to just call you out. Good unburrow micro on the Widow Mines, man. Those are great trades for Oliveira. Look at this. He's lost like 2 Widow Mines and 3 or 4 Marines. Okay, he should chill out now for a moment, I think, but he's trying to just keep the creep back. The creep is so far forward, and that's what Oliveira is not comfortable with right now. He's like, no, this is unacceptable. I need to push this creep back. I can't let him have this much map control. I got to keep taxing him here. The Banelings split off, but the Widowmine survives. The Queens are out of transfuse. Remember, there's only 7 Queens in this game, and they're all on the front, which means there's no injects going down right now, but the Banelings get a giant connection. Oh, man. You know, I feel like Oliveira's instincts to push here, that what he's seeing, what he's up against, would be perfect. He's up against a fast 5th base, creep all over the map, crazy greed. Pushing in that hard is absolutely the right call if your opponent wasn't already so far ahead. If Oliveira skipped the early starport units, went straight up into his biomine, that is a build he sometimes does. That would have been, I think, a killing move. But as it is, Dark holds. He's got a Hive on the way. His 2-2 is ahead. He's got Mauling Bane. He's got so much creep spread. Beautiful defense. Three more barracks are finishing up right now. Oliveira wants to keep his pedal on the metal, keep the aggression going. Pedal to the metal, I should say. And yeah, Tech Lab's going down. So he's going to prepare for the late game, but still no second factory. Actually, he did build a second factory early, didn't he? So that's weird. Second factory and 8 barracks before 4th command center. I can't say I've seen this one in a while. Usually, you'd be going very quick 4th command center into the second factory, any extra barracks, but he's trying to just keep up non-stop aggression. I don't know if he has enough money to support all that production. Oliveira hitting a slight supply block on 149. He's slightly up in army supply. Upgrades are even. These 2 Elbats and a couple of Marines trying to keep him distracted, but with 4 mineral lines saturated and a 5th base opening up for workers to transfer to, Dark's looking pretty darn solid. The drops are going to try and dive past. He says, hey, you don't really have much anti-air, and that is indeed true. I don't know what just happened, guys. 9 drones just went down. Widowmine drop. 13 drones just went down. Sorry, guys. We missed that one on the minimap. 13 drones. Big snipe. Denies the hatchery on the left side. Saves the Marines. Dark's getting angry. Dark says, screw you. How dare you do that? He's going to run on in here. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oliveira's units are on the wrong side. They're on the wrong side. He's out on creep. Wait. Is he going to ignore it? Oliveira says the best defense is a good offense. These two men do not defend at all. Oh, my God. They are just standing there and punching each other in the face. It's that famous old pride fight where the two guys are just holding each other, that giant Korean dude and that mustachioed American dude, and they've both got one hand on each other's shoulder and the other hand is punching the other guy in the face, and they both don't know what the word defense is. I think Dark comes out on top of it. He gets 25 SCVs, forces the third to lift. Oh man, those Marines trying to get in behind the mineral line. They are going to take out the Ultra Cavern before Kindness Plating finishes, which is something, but oh, the transfuse! Dark's queen absolutely sticks her tongue out and says, nah. Get wrecked, nerd. Marines and Marauders trying to come forward. Oliveira knows he needs damage and he needs it right now, but Dark's greed is just out of this world. Remember, he hasn't been injecting with queens for the last 5, maybe 3 minutes in this game. My God, that Widowmine, it was a perfect circle of red. A perfect circle. That was like 40 units died to that Widowmine. The Widowmine died in the shot, which is why we couldn't see how many kills it had, but that was ridiculous. Dude, Oliveira is actually up in army supply. Dark needs to give this base up. He just took a few really bad fights. This base is actually mining on the left. His third is back to mining. He's transferred some workers there. No way. No way. Oliveira's meant to be dead. Oliveira's meant to be dead in this game, man. Okay, the Ultras are here. They don't have kindness. Oh, actually, it'll be done in 20 seconds. The Ling's getting a bit of surround. The Bio's a bit overstimmed. Oliveira needs to pull back and heal on up. 5th base did go down, though, so this does curtail Dark's economic growth. His main's half mined out. His natural is losing its last 4, or its first 4 mineral patches. But of course, his third will be going for a while longer, and his 4th is still completely healthy as well. Still a bit of mineral mining in the main for a few more minutes as well. Pathogen glands will come in. The perfect complement to Ling Bane Ultra is a few infestors. You know your opponent usually goes ghosts here, but even just with Marauders, holding them in place so they can't start a step will be massive. +3 attack does start up for the Bio. No 3/3 upgrades on the way for Dark. The Widowmine gets another great hit there. Base on the left side finally gets scouted by Dark Zergling. He's aware of that third. He's going to split 4 Ultras to kill it while trying to defend the middle here with the Ling Bane. A double drop on the left side snipes his hatchery. Ling Bane trying to run in. Oliveira staying very nifty with his drippy droppy micro. He's going to almost certainly lose the base to the Ultras on the left side. Dark's going for the throat right now. No defense, all offense. Let's go. Ultras trying to run on in. The Liberator getting those crazy shots. Okay, but that base will fall very quickly. Drop goes back in here. The drop on the right side did have to pick up and pull back. This drop gets in. Looks like they took out a queen and they're bleeding in some Zerglings. Oliveira picks up. He's going to move that one to the high ground, but the Spore Crawler is putting some damage on it. Looks like the Bio Mine landing some big hits. A 12-kill mine there. Ultras are in the third, though, and oh no, you can't afford to lose this economy. Oliveira right now fighting hard. The Marauders up front are good. His Marines do a bit of a spready, but the Banelings still connect. The Marines are in the main base at the same time. He's got a drop on the right side, picking off the drones as they come back. What the hell is going on in this game? These two men know how to throw a punch. They know how to take a punch. But at the end of it, of course, Zerg on 4 bases, I think is still going to come out on top. Command Center starts rebuilding, but he's still got 71 drones, and if Dark can reestablish bases at any moment, he'll be good. There's Widowmines kind of scattered around the map at this point in random places. They've been getting pretty good value. I definitely want to see him leave a Widowmine there as well, just to stop those run-bys. Here we go, big Ultra Ling army. He doesn't have enough bio anymore to fight that on creep. Pulls back off creep, gets a Widowmine hit, does siege up the libs. And it looks like Zerglings running around the map. Lings, Ultras, first 2 infestors are going to be popping soon. He just built 6 queens because Dark has literally no queens. And then he held the queen key down. 6 queens popped out all at once. They're not control group, though. It's going to be hard to organize those. Bio army coming in. Oh, he holds the choke point pretty well again, but the third base is going to get cleansed, which means he needs to do damage on the front. Oh, one Baneling snuck through onto the Marines. Quite a few of them do go down. The Liberator is being a bit of a pain to deal with, but those 6 queens come down. Dark scrambling those queens out. Emergency queens required as he had nothing that shot up. He gets 19 SCVs, and the fungal! The finishing blow there. And that's got to be the fatality move there. Even scanning the front and going, well, you're only on 4 base. You got to realize, excuse me, as Oliveira, that you just don't have any army supply. He's got more army than you right now. And the +3 is going to kick in, but you've only got dregs. left over, a very small force. Widow Mines kind of scare him off a little bit, but you've just got very few SCVs to work with. A couple guys mining there, a bunch transferring out of the main, and he's going to try and make a planetary on that left side, but way down in supply. And Dark doing a very good greedy opening. Those 2 macro hatcheries in the main. Remember, you might think, oh, not injecting all game. How do you do that? Guys, if you just build 2 macro hatcheries and take 5 bases, it means you have 7 hatcheries producing. You can... Especially if you queued up a few injects earlier before pulling all the queens to the front, you'd be amazed how much Lingbane you can make out of 7 hatcheries all at once. And Dark is famous for that when he plays this greedy build, because he's low on queens. When the fighting starts, he just grabs every single queen, pulls them to the front, and hopefully has stacked enough injects on his hatcheries to keep him going, but ends up with just a massive army here. He's got +3 Carapace and Burrow on the way. Once again, splitting Ultras off, which is such a good unit for sniping planetaries as they don't care about the splash damage. Oh my god. Oh, another Widow Mine, 13 kills. But in isolation, remember, these aren't game-winning. You know, 1 or 2 good Widow Mines doesn't make up for the 5 or 6 that killed 1 or 2 Zerglings. You know, it's always about averaging it out. Too many players on both sides of the equation obsess over the one big cinematic shot, but it's about what happens over the course of dozens and dozens of shots and the averages that really matter. Planetary Fortress and 10 SCVs go down. There's Liberator and a few mines defending. That hatchery does get sniped, but the Fungal takes out the full medevac. Those queens there doing what they can. There's still a single red hit point Marauder chilling, trying to be annoying. We've got a Widow Mine there. That's going to get another kill. Oh man, these Widow Mines, absolute Chad gamers. I really want to go back and find that perfect circle in the replay at the end of this game, because that shot was just so, it was beautiful. It looked like the Zerglings it hit actually got hit by the maximum amount of splash damage, like the maximum number of lings kind of clumped into that area possible. Infestors are going to branch out across this map. These are what we call ambush festers, guys. They used to not have to unburrow to throw the Fungal, and the Fungal, I believe, was even bigger than it is now. Maybe the same size. Either way, pretty gigantic compared to old school Wings of Liberty Fungals. And Dark was the guy who made people realize that was broken about a year after that patch came out, maybe 9 months. Everyone said, oh, it's fine, Infestors are a bad unit. And Dark made multiple comebacks from down 60 or 70 supply in Korea. And that kind of opened everyone's eyes to, hey, maybe being able to Fungal while underground is kind of BS. It's like, imagine you could just turn a permanent cloak on a High Templar. It has Dark Templar cloak, but it can storm without revealing itself. You're like, does that seem like a good idea, guys? You're like, no. No, how did anyone think this was okay? And I was there from day one railing against it, saying, guys, I will abuse this because I love it. I like playing Zerg, but it's not fair. I want everyone to know that. People are like, Infestors are so bad. You don't know what you're talking about, pig. And I was like, okay, famous last words. 3 months later, they said, see, no one's using it still. See. And a year later, I had the last laugh when Blizzard said, yeah, we really screwed up on that. I'm surprised it didn't get taken advantage of earlier. We were waiting for it to get abused before we nerfed it. And took almost a year for people to decide, invisible AoE spellcasters are kind of BS, man. All right, good bio mine lib spread. I like that Oliveira's hanging on in. That's what kind of allowed him to come back in that last game. In this game, it's not going to work. He's completely dead. It's a matter of when and where Dark chooses to attack me. If he could send all the lings around the left would be my favorite way of doing it. I do not like how low he was on Overseers in the previous game, but he seems to have learned his lesson. He has 8 Overseers this time. And I think one of the best things you can do in a game like this, guys, is you take an Ultralisk and an Overseer and you send them around the map. Because the Overseer with speed is faster than an Ultra, you don't put it on the same hotkey. You just tell the Overseer to follow the Ultra and you A-move it around the map. And that's basically the Roomba, the vacuum cleaner, the sweeper, the street sweeper of Zerg vs. Terran. Oh my god, another Widow Mine! That was a 31 kill Widow Mine! Oh man, these Widow Mines, holy crud. But yeah, single Ultra A-moving the map when they've left Widow Mines everywhere, really important. You just kind of cue the A-move zigzags everywhere on the left side while your army's focused on the right side. And if you don't ever do that, it feels like the Widow Mines just become very oppressive because they just sit out there waiting. But oh, speaking of waiting for their time, Fungals the units, takes them all out. It damages the medevacs. Doesn't really do that much. Only 30 damage for a Fungal, but it's all about that 75% slow and inability to use your abilities. Inability to use your abilities. Well, technically correct, not the most eloquent phrase. We'll work on that for the next time, guys. 100 Zerglings, 3 Ultras, 12 Infestors, and 27 Banelings coming forward. The Liberators are there as well. A couple Lings try to rally in that right side. The next wave will get by. Now that those Widow Mines are defused, they've already fired their shots. They've emptied their loads. The Overseer's coming in with those Lings. That turret will get some damage, but not enough. Mass army on the left. The Liberator's like, hey, you guys don't shoot up. Get out of here. Bad, Zerg. Dark says, that's fine. I just cleared 22 workers on your fourth base. And I even have enough Lings to overwhelm the units on the ground. Adrenal Gland 2-3 Zerglings doing pretty darn well. No +3 armor for Terran. Likewise, no +3 attack for Zerg. So that balances out in the Zergling interactions. Ultraling Bane coming on fourth, trying to go Neuroparasite. I think he's going to take the Liberators and pull a classic why are you hitting yourself maneuver. Still no Spire for Dark in this game. Surprises me, but I think he's just going to A-move past the Liberators. Looks like he was thinking of chain fungling the Liberators to death. For those who don't know, a Liberator has 180 hit points. So it takes 6 fungals to kill a Liberator. It's not an effective way of doing it. GG. All right, guys, let's go. Game number 5, the decider on Neo-Humanity. Can Dark bring it back? Is he still unkillable? Or is this one going to slip away? Oliveira is going for a reactor first. Ooh, build. I don't think you can kill this Overlord. Even if you get Marine there, Marine there, Marine there, Marine there. I don't think you can reach it, right? But he at least pushes it back for now. And this is... Oh, man, this opening's kind of fragile. Like, it can go really well or it can go really badly, depending on what happens. Usually, we're looking at a Marine drop with a single Widow Mine and then swapping over into Hellions, right? This used to go into Battlecruiser very regularly, especially Maru when he was playing Battle Mech. No Widow Mine, sorry. Just 8 Marines and then 3 Hellions built one at a time off the factory. Then you swap over for the Hellion Banshee or the Hellion Lib. Right. Just trying to refresh my brain on how this build works because I feel like it's been out of the meta for a little while. Interestingly, no second gas. Whoa, this is a weird version. Oh, I didn't realize. I guess he's just going to go straight for 3rd CC after the Thingo comes out after the medevac? Or is he actually... You're not putting the starport on the reactor, are you? Yeah, okay, that's a quick 3rd command center, 3 minutes 30. And it's out of vision of the Overlord, so Dark doesn't know about it, which is pretty darn nice. No units lost on either side. Dark does have this front 3rd hatch up. Link speed is almost finished here, getting close to 4 minutes. And that medevac's coming on out. Yeah, I gotta say, pretty good opening so far for Oliveira. He's not overcommitting to the aggression at all. He's playing Dark, and that's a good idea, because a lot of people like to move out with those Marines and move around and kind of threaten. But you never know when Dark's just rushed Link speed and gonna build 20 Lings and run them at you. So Oliveira is erring on the side of caution and safety. And there we go. He's actually not gonna build Hellions reacted afterwards. He's gonna swap straight into Bio. And remember, I was talking about the extreme greed Dark was playing earlier and how like hard it is to deal with that. Like, right? Dark's just ridiculous greed coming out. And this is going to be way better because he's not bothering with safety Banshees. It's just going to be Hellion pressure, Marine drop pressure, and then going from there. No Queens in the main right now. That drop's going to come past. He hasn't spotted it. And Dark sees it. He's going to need to scramble some Queens over there real quick. They're not moving. There we go. Queens do react, but that drop's already starting to unload in that main base. Those Hellions are going to try and dart on in and get a few of these drones on the front as well. The Marines pick up and pull back. The medevac does take a fair bit of damage, but look at those Hellions. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drone kills. Oh, he might get caught though. Yep, 2 Hellions go down. Only 1 Hellion escapes. The Marines will get an Overlord on that right if they just shuffle down a little bit, and they do. Nicely done. 3rd command center's up at home. Double engineering bay finishing up. 3 barracks producing those stim Marines already. And the Marines coming in, joining with that single Hellion. They're going to get 2 drones there. Nice! That Hellion in the red still getting some damage even this late in the game. He's got to pull back though now. Obviously with the medevac so low, you can't really risk going anywhere near the creep spread. Quick 4th base on the left side for Dark. He's going for the lair as well, but only now taking a second gas at 5 minutes 20, 5:30. So he's been really distracted by this. With this build, normally Dark needs extra gases right now, and he's starting to drop them all. But it looks like the upgrade advantage will be there for Oliveira. Didn't have enough money to start his +1 armor, so he's got to realize that and start it soon. And Dark is going to go mass roach play here. That mainstay. I told you guys he's incapable of dying. I thought he was way ahead on Gressvin, and he kind of messed up really bad. Then almost fought his way back into the game. after multiple mess-ups of trying to defend the base and made an almost miraculous comeback before Oliveira barely won. So I'm really curious to see how another matchup of these styles goes. This time it's straight Widowmine production for Oliveira up against that Roach play. You'd much rather have tank production for Oliveira. Hopefully he spots this sooner rather than later, but there's only 14 Zerglings. What the hell? Dark, you greedy boy! Oh my lord. I mean, he's gonna have to pull the drones in to fight, but good queen micro, good positioning. Oh, it's a lot of drone kills though. Gets 10, 11 drones and good back off. Good back off. Fantastic trade there. 11 drones gets him down to even workers, kills a few queens as well. And Dark there just being way too greedy. Trying to go up to like 70 plus workers off a handful of Zerglings and 7 or 8 queens. A little bit lazy for him, mate. Armory's on the way. Still no idea that it's Roach play. He needs to find this out sooner rather than later. Otherwise, he might just die to the Roach shove. This is still... Even after doing that damage, he needs to see the Roaches. He sees them. Very important that Oliveira saw those Roaches. Now he knows what he's up against, and he's going to immediately swap the factory over onto Attack Lab. Unfortunately, he doesn't have one available, so he's going to have to build a new one. Lifts up that barracks, puts it on that reactor. Very nice. At least he can make use of the reactor. He's going to build a second factory and a 4th command center out front his base. A little vulnerable there. Marines take out 1 queen. Can they get a few more? Ooh, the transfuses are good. On the right side, looks like the Marines pick up. The Widow Mines do hit the Roaches. Oh, man, those Marines just killed every queen. Oh, this is big damage. Looks like the Spores in the main do defend the Zerglings. Accidentally attack the Spore. Misclick there for Dark momentarily. Be careful to not waste too many units, Oliveira. You need siege tanks. He doesn't even have a single siege tank at home. He's trying to outposition Dark. But when 1-1 kicks in, the hammer could drop. And Oliveira, he's doing a good job of keeping him back for now. But Dark isn't even planning to push just yet. And look at the supply. Keep in mind it's Roach supply. It's not the best, but with no siege tanks to help defend, I really feel that there hasn't been enough focus on production for Oliveira. I think the 4th command center seems good for the long game, but right now is a scary window in the game, and I think Dark's going to look to exploit it. That siege tank has to be protected at all costs. And as the tanks pop out, Oliveira, if he ferries them down with a medevac to siege up here and here and here, then he should be good. He's got a bunker up. He's trying to build a second one. Good positioning. The Ravagers have to get really close in order to actually bile that siege tank, so that's really huge for him. The Marines and the Marauders are up front there. The bunker's going to try to hang on. Biling it down is Dark. Very good SCV pull. He just needs to tank. He needs to survive. Oliveira can lose every SCV here as long as he holds this attack, but I don't know if he's going to be able to. Just not having the siege tanks up to punish this Roach Ravager, but he does start a step forward on top to punish that move. Dodging the bios very well with the bio. A new siege tank comes up. He's going to try and start a step forward. A second siege tank pops out. Oh man, Oliveira trying to hang on for dear life. He's got 2-2 on the way. Dark did not start 2-2, and that tank survives. It only got double biled to start. Finally, it gets triple biled, but only after all the Roach Ravager falls. And you know what? I said every single SCV can die as long as he survives. He's good. I actually think Oliveira might be ahead in this game. His 2-2 is beyond halfway done. He's actually in a very good spot. Yes, he's down 14 workers, but he's got a 4th base. He can rebuild. And if he can withstand the next wave, I think he's okay. 4 queens are getting built here because remember, Dark doesn't have a single queen right now and no macro hatcheries. He's building drones. He's building queens. He's making 2-2. He's being forced into a longer game. Now, Dark needs to realize that he's on a dead tech tree. If he's going to go into a longer game, it can't just be an all-in. Like, he can't just stay on Roach Ravager. He needs to actually add an infestation pit ASAP and go up to Lurker and Vipers. Vipers being most important since his opponent's massing tanks. He could do a Broodlord swap or something like that, or swap into Ling Bane, but in that case, he'd want melee rather than range. Dark right now is just doing nothing but massing Roaches. Oliveira, he's still all in, man. He's still just massing Roaches. He's got a good work account, but Oliveira bravely moving out right now with a drop. Wow, okay. Oh my god, and another drop? Okay, so he's basically making the read that Dark is going to go 85, 90 drones and mass Ling Bane afterwards. What he doesn't realize is that Dark is still just massing Roaches and just going to go for a delayed all-in, and he's hoping to catch Oliveira with not enough units at home defending. That's the entire play. Dark is basically saying there's a lot of complex strategies in StarCraft. I'm going to choose pick up a brick of Roaches and then smash my opponent in the face. This is not fancy StarCraft. This is the simplest strategy Dark could think of, but the simplest strategy is usually not considered a good strategy. It's underestimated by pro players. He usually prefers something a bit fancier, and Oliveira is going to attack into it, which is not good for him. He does not want to be moving on creep. He does not realize just how dead Dark's tech tree is, look at this, the Roach Ravager setting up for the flank. Oliveira does not know they're there. These tanks are his lifeline. He needs to protect these siege tanks. Dark's looking for an ambush. Dark is looking to caveman his way through this game, through the world champion. Oh man, there's so much Roach Ravager on the right side that he doesn't even know about. So this is it. He's trying to pretend, look, I've only got a small army. Oh no, please don't push into me. Oh no. Meanwhile, a massive Roach Ravager going across the map. He shows his hand a little bit early with the Zerglings, giving him maybe a chance to defend. Oliveira, I think he should pull home. But he's going to shove. He's going to shove in. Oh, man. This is about to get so nasty for Oliveira because now he's attacking into corrosive piles. That ain't going to work. Oliveira is in huge trouble, losing his wall off at home. He's going to shove forward and get a base, but getting a base is not big. He eats more corrosive biles. His production has been breached, and that could be game. Dark says, you know what? A caveman is the least suspected, the most underestimated form of army in StarCraft, but I am the king of the caveman. I land any of these corrosive biles, and I can win a game where everyone else would count me out. The siege tank in the back is going to get biled down, man. Oh, if Oliveira could defend at all at home, this might be okay because his army is so good on the front. He still could technically win with this army. Oh, he's getting on top of the Ravagers. He does eat one big bile as he's forced to retreat from most of them. But no, I think that's too good of a fight. Even though this looks okay for Oliveira, keep in mind, guys, he's lost most of his tanks and bio. He's lost almost all of his production at home. He's got one mining base on the left. He's going to try and rebuild barracks. I think Dark has this one in the bag because if he cleans this army up, then that's it. Yeah, Oliveira has to pick up and go home. Imagine if Oliveira had even just like one more siege tank on the high ground or a few more Marines and Marauders. It'd be a very different game. But Dark just doing the classic slow you down with a pack of Ravagers on the front, backstab with 70% of my army. And it's a backstab that you just cannot deal with. 29 SCVs, all that's left here for Oliveira. Oliveira does have +3 attack about to finish. He's got tanks sieging up inside that main base. Don't attack in there, Dark. If Dark just stays out of tank range, he'll be okay. That's what he's doing for now. Mass barracks has been rebuilt here. Add-ons are for tryhards and cucks, and Oliveira is neither of those, and he will be building these Marines one at a time. That tank trying to make the slowest getaway of all time. Dark says, free siege tank. Yes, please, good sir. He's going to go after all these new barracks that just finished on the left side. Oh, this is really hard for Oliveira. He pulled himself into such a good position, and this is this crazy thing where because your opponent, it's so unexpected. Did he just kill one of his own siege tanks? Did Oliveira just kill a siege tank, guys? I think I saw that in the top right of my screen. You guys can confirm in Twitch chat if you saw it as well. But that is definitely not something you can afford in this situation. He's down to just 4 siege tanks. Twitch chat confirms indeed. Yes, he did. Oh, that's awkward, man. You know what he really messed up on in this game, guys? Oliveira never scanned for the hive. That would have been the big tell. When he pushed out, he should have scanned, and when he saw no hive on the way, he should have realized, wait, Dark is just stuck on lair tech, and therefore there is no need for me to push. I need to be much more careful. He's going to have a bigger standing army looking for base trades, looking for backstabs, looking for surrounds. I need to scout for that. But Oliveira, he skipped on scanning for the hive, and that's what's put him in this position. Look at this way Dark's splitting his army up. He says, hey, come out into the open and fight me, dude. Come on, come and eat my corrosive biles. Daddy wants to drop some corrosive biles on your face. Oliveira says, you're not my daddy. Maru is, mate. I'm not even Maru, let's be real. You win the world championship. Maru needs to beat him 7 times in a row before he makes up for that. And even then, I think Maru would even himself say it doesn't make up for it. Looks like, though, he's going to bring it back. Dark with a very good series here. Him and Oliveira have had such bangers for a while now, even before he won the world championship. But at the end of the day, Dark is a wily mother trucker. He's a surprising boy. And, you know, he may have used a very basic army, but he used it so excellently. He hid his numbers. He lured Oliveira deep on the map and then took advantage of it. That was just perfect usage of what may have been a very bad tech position for Dark, but his opponent didn't know it. And as long as his opponent doesn't know what he's doing, Dark is dangerous.